There, good girl. Can you believe it? I'm back! I'm making another video. It's been a year and 8 months since the fire. We're here in Panama City. And we've got our lives put together sufficiently that I'm able to start riding the horses again. So you remember Samba. She's sweet 16 this year. She's an Andalusian quarter horse cross. And I think she's doing great. I'm just walking along next to her while she trots. And it's very easy to keep up with her because she's so slow when she trots. When her head pops up a little bit, I just raise the inside rein and ask her to put her head back down. And she does this very nicely. I was really pleased. No. There, good girl. All right, so right here, I'm going to do a turn-in with her. She doesn't have a whole lot of bend through her body. Her body's pretty straight, actually. So maybe that's something to work on a little bit. I didn't do a whole lot of groundwork with her before I started just doing this riding from the ground. She is just offering a trot. So I'm just letting her go at a trot. Here I'm going to ask for a move out.
Good girl.
And again, not a whole lot of bend through her body. I'm going to do a turn in. Coming this way. Good girl. You'll recall that one of the last things we were working on a year and 8 months ago was trying to get nice, quiet canter transitions on the lunch line. And Samba used to charge off like she had a bear right behind her. And she's still doing that. But as you'll see here, she gets better as we go. So I'm keeping in mind a couple of things that you told me last time. I still have my notes, so I went back and reread my notes. You told me to let her keep cantering for a while instead of bringing her down to a trot or a walk after each transition, and just kind of let her get into the swing of the canter. And one thing I notice is when she does a good canter transition, I'll say, good girl, and she thinks that means come back down to a trot. I need to put a piece of tape over my mouth or something because it just keeps coming out. Good girl, and then she'll come back down. See, now she looked nice there as she was going around. She almost looks like she's getting some better balance. And another thing I'm trying to do is to ask for the canter transition in a quieter way, not so big and alarming. When I ask for the canter transition that way, she has more of a startled response when she jumps into it. Now she kind of hesitated there. She wanted to ask if she was doing it right, and I missed the opportunity to reward her. And I just did it again. She was asking, did I do that right? And I was wishing I had walked out there and just petted her on the head for a second. I keep missing these opportunities to reward her. But here I'm managing to keep my mouth shut, and she is continuing to canter. So I did ask her to come down, and I am going to reward her there. Here we're going in the opposite direction. I'm pulling the circle in a little bit so she doesn't have quite so much room to get up a big head of steam and really get going. she's kind of got to slow down. Wasn't that nice? Look at that. I'm going to give her a big reward for that. Again, I asked very quietly. I almost was just thinking canter.
Good girl.
See, every time I say good girl, she comes back down. I need to wire my jaw shut or something and stop saying that. Ugh.
Good girl. Can we do a canter?
Here's the canter transition from a different angle because I had a GoPro camera strapped to my chest.
Good girl.
And there you can see the effect of saying good girl.
Canter?
She is
Good
very
girl.
obedient when I say canter. She will pick
Canter?
up a canter right away.
Canter?
And it's on the correct lead too, which is a positive.
Oh, good girl. Whoops.
Now this time I didn't even say canter, I was thinking canter.
Good girl. Oh my God, that was beautiful.
Okay, so here's the under saddle part. And this is really atrocious. I know. I started out with a hat, and I'm going to have to get rid of my hat here because it's not going to stay on in this wind.
Good girl.
So I'm just having Samba stand here. It almost looks like it's a freeze frame because she's standing so still and so patient.
Yeah.
And she is being very good here and very nice. But this is something I remember about riding her. You know, I used to have to ride her for like 20 or 30 minutes to get her to start listening to me at all. She has a tendency to kind of dash off and run away. And I'm trying very hard to ride here with my hands close to my belly button. And I asked for a little move out there, and now I'm stopping and I'm asking for a move out again. I'm turning too much. Ugh. You see how ugly this gets. I find that when I try to ride with my hands near my belly button, that really only works well when the horse is already settled and keeping its head in a steady position. Because if they throw their head up and get above the contact, all of a sudden you've got a lot of rein to deal with. Now you're seeing some rather nice things here, I agree. We're just working on stop.
Doing real good.
And I want her to walk. She keeps squirting off into a trot. I guess because she thinks she's supposed to. We did all this riding from the ground where she offered a trot and I let her go. So now she thinks that's the SOP. I am kind of using a strong stop correction. But I know if the more I pull on her, the more antsy she gets. So I'm trying not to pull on her too much. I'm trying to be as easy as I can with the reins. They're a little floppy. I need to have a more steady contact. And every time she goes, she throws that head right back up in the air. I wish I knew the key to that. I think I'm using this stop correction too much, where I raise my hands up high. Okay, so at this point, I'm I've done some go and stop, and she still squirts off and wants to go. So I'm just going to ride her in on her natural circle at the trot for a little bit and hope that the circle calms her down and fixes some of her problems. She does seem happier that I'm letting her do what she wants to do. She's getting to trot and move. She doesn't like to stop. She's never had a good stop, or even slow down. The circle is a little uneven. It's changing sizes, and I look like I'm about to fall off half the time. Fortunately, her trot is not hard to sit. It's a very tiny trot. Now, I just had to include this part because this is the squarest stop she's ever done. I'm making her just stand and wait on me. And she does this thing with her head because she wants to go. When she goes, she always throws her head in the air. Now I'm trying to get more subtle with my stop aid. So I pushed my hips forward there, and she stopped obediently without throwing her head. And here's another stop. I'm trying to stop her more with my seat and just by raising the reins a little bit rather than pulling back on the reins. And here, I slowed this down to show a turn in that I'm asking her to do. It's not a great turn in by any means, but it was one that I caught on camera from a good angle. And here I just decided I'm going to ride her in figure eights to try to give her more to think about, a little challenge. And I see I am turning everything way too much. I'm turning my body, I'm looking the wrong way. What I was trying to do was to really give her the feeling of a big aid and tell her what I wanted very clearly. And she certainly understands. I mean, she's not doing it great, but I'm able to guide her where I want her to go at least. So I wasn't real happy with this outing, but hey, I did it. I'm back on her. And next week I'll try Prairie.
Good enough.